I want to tell you a lot about character strengths, but we'll just have time for a little bit today. I love character strengths, so I thought I'd tell you first what they are. Character strengths are the unique ways we show up in the world. It's about who we are and how we show up in life and relationships. They're the parts of ourselves that maybe we used to call virtues. They're not skills, it's our lens of seeing the world. And learning about character strengths changed both my life and the way I practice. You know, most of our lives we're told what's wrong with us. And from the time we're little, we're either in the Bluebird reading group or we're in the Orange Sun ones. And it's about higher and lower. But character strengths are about teaching us a way to look at ourselves in a holistic way, to look at what's strong in us, not what's wrong in us. We have many, many character strengths. In this particular study and research, we're using the VIA, Values in Action, which looks at 24 character strengths. But the truth is we have many more than 24. I'm going to talk specifically about my top character strengths. You each learned some about yours. And really I'm going to just talk to you some about how they applied and how they showed up for me in performance. My usual performance is either as a therapist or a professor or in a workshop. But in this instance, this performance is about me having some fun and finding some meaning in my life through dancing. Character strengths, they're the building blocks of changing the way you think about yourself and about others. So I call them the little positivity building blocks. And our main goal is to teach you a language of strengths so you begin experiencing yourself in the world differently. I did a dance recital about 3 weeks ago where I danced Chim Chim Cheree from Mary Poppins. Never danced or performed a Viennese waltz before, so even doing that was a really big stretch. My top character strengths are appreciation of beauty and excellence, creativity, curiosity, fairness, and perspective. I'm going to talk some about how these showed up. First of all, I was very aware of my curiosity because when my dance partner, who is my dance teacher, we actually take turns in partnering, picking what number we're going to dance, and this was actually Mark's pick. So I immediately got curious and I went and looked at the old original Mary Poppins, and then I looked at the most recent one, and I had to see the different dances and how they were done and what the music was like, because we could have chosen an orchestral version or we could have chosen someone singing. Also some of Mark's expertise about what would be a better rhythm. So that was my curiosity. My curiosity, as well as my appreciation of beauty, kind of held hands. So as I was looking at these various films, I was looking at the costuming, the different things that Mary Poppins wore. I was really looking at what props, because props, when you're dancing and moving in the Viennese waltz is quite quick paced, what props could I handle? Umbrella was a must. If I could have come down out of the sky with the umbrella, I would have. I couldn't figure that one out. And then the other prop that we decided was the chimney sweep's brush. Mary Poppins wore various different things. Some of her costumes were quite dark and drab, so I of course picked one with red. So my eye for beauty was through that all along. You can also hear the creativity through the partnering, the version of the song we chose, the picking of the costumes, how it was all going to look together and fit together. Perspective. So I'm just a regular person that's taking dance, and I've been taking about 4 years, but I am by no means a professional. So this is very sensitive perspective taking on my part and on Mark's part. So we have to pick a level of complexity that I can do and handle and have fun with and look well while I'm doing it. But it also means that Mark, as my partner, has to have some perspective taking in terms of what's going to keep us in balance so that our dance looks good. And so it doesn't look like here's this professional teacher and here's this person that's kind of awkward and doesn't know what they're doing. So that requires us each taking a loving perspective on who we are and where we're at with dance. So this is perspective taking and my fairness, holding hands, because these strengths, they never really work alone. So my fairness came in in that even when I began this dance, I had a torn meniscus in my knee. But at some point, practicing all these swirling and twirling, I further injured it. There was even the debate about, was I going to do the dance at all? So I had to really do a lot of perspective taking about me, and was this in my best interest? And I'm doing this for fun and meaning. It's not my career. And I also had to do a lot of fairness, and I want to say fairness, really heavily mixed with a lot of self-compassion about, now I didn't have so much anxiety about performing. I had anxiety about, was I going to hurt my knee, particularly, at that place in the performance where, that's when it happened. You can really see how some of my top 5, 6 strengths were all dancing together. Wonderful way for me to be able to look at myself from strengths, which is what this is all about, and how we show up in the world. That's it for strengths.